Hey everybody, today we are talking about The Old Woman with the Knife by Gu Byung-mo. The Old Woman with the Knife is a story about exactly that, the old woman with the knife. It is a book about a 65-year-old woman who is basically a hit woman. She takes care of requests from clients, and that usually results in somebody's death. Her name is Hornclaw. As far as I know, that is the only name that she ever goes by in this book, so we don't know what her real name is. And we also have a couple of other characters that she works with called Worry Fixer and Bullfight. Hornclaw works for a company called Disease Control, and she kind of helped create it back when she was younger, and she has just been doing this for essentially ever since then, for most of her adult life. One day she is going out for a hit and something ends up happening. She ends up getting seen. This man kind of had a feeling he was being followed, figured it out, and she still completed the job, but she knows that she messed up because she got an injury from it, and so she had to go to the hospital to see her doctor to get fixed from her wounds, and her normal doctor wasn't there, and so she had to meet with a different doctor that was more of an intern, and that's kind of where the story starts to kind of unravel, and where we kind of start seeing her age and how that is affecting her in her business, where she has to be on top of her game. And she, along with her company, their Bullfight, for example, tends to kind of like joke around with her that she is getting too old for this kind of a thing, and she's very aware that there's a possibility that things could go wrong because of her age. And so that's a big theme in the book, is she able to still complete these jobs while she is getting older? When is it time for her to stop doing this? Now, when I first saw this cover, I thought, I was instantly like intrigued, especially because I noticed that it's written by a Korean woman, and so I really wanted to read it because this is May, the month of May. It's the end of May. It took me a long time to get to these books, but I made it. I was able to do it for the May Readathon, the Asian Readathon. It's something that probably you've heard of this YouTuber before with Cindy. She does this Asian Readathon in May and sets up some challenges every year, and this actually happened to qualify for a lot of the challenges that she had set up for this. She wanted it to be, of course, the main challenge is to just read a book by an Asian author, which is easy for me because that's what most of my books are. And also she was going with a theme that she was wanting you to try and get a book that was of an older character that was a female. And she's 65, she's a woman, and that fit perfectly. So I picked it up, and it's a pretty quick read. I mean, it's like over 300 pages, so it's not necessarily short, but then again, it is not very long either, and it causes you to want to keep reading. I like the way that it was translated. It makes it really, like, it makes you want to continue to read and know what happens next, especially near the end. Like, the climax of the book is just really intense. I was reading late at night and I didn't want to put it down, even though I knew I had work the next day, but I just had to finish the chapter because it was just like really action-filled and intense and just really worth reading all the way to the end of that chapter. And so for me, it hit all the boxes of what I was expecting. However, there were some things that I was thinking that would have been a little bit different. For example, the fact that this is about an older hit woman. You would probably expect that she's getting old and so she's probably not that good or something. But I was kind of expecting that it was going to be more of like she was really amazing and it didn't matter how old she was, and she was like the best of the best and she got everything done 100%. She was so good all the time, and it actually is the opposite of what I was thinking. It was kind of like your first instinct of like, oh, well, if she's 65, how well can she really continue to do these things? How well can she still run? How well can she still have with her like reflexes and stuff like that? And she still does have a lot of those good qualities that she needs for her job, but at the same time, it is very apparent that she is getting older, and so that's still a big theme in it. So it's kind of like in the middle of those two things, where she's not amazing as she used to be, but she's still good, and her age is affecting her, but not as much as it could be. And so I actually kind of liked that balance, because it gave you both sides of things. It gave you the ability to see how she does with her job, and it also gives you the realistic side of things, that she knows she's getting older, and how is she going to cope with these things? What does she do to keep herself from making too many mistakes and staying on top of things? And so I really liked it. I liked it quite a lot, actually. And it was a nice change of pace for things that I've been reading lately. A lot of the books that I've been reading recently have been around the time period of when a lot of wars have been going on, a lot of conflict, a lot of tragedy, and even though those books are amazingly beautifully written and really worth reading, I also was looking for just a different direction for a minute, just something totally different. And this absolutely was totally different. I mean, it still had, you know, the death element, I guess you could say, but in a different way. So, you know, it's fiction, and so it's meant to be around this, you know, this idea that is not based on any like actual true stories and stuff. So that could also get me to be out of my head for while I was reading it, and to enjoy it for what it was, and not have to think about like that it was based on true events. And so anyway, this is just kind of the book I needed right now. So here it is again, The Old Woman with the Knife. It was also has a recommendation right there, or a what are they called? A good review. It says, an unparalleled story with a groundbreaking female character as captivating as any in literature. And that quote comes from Kyung-Suk Shin, which is the author of Please Look After Mom, which, you know, I really liked that book. And so that was another thing that really drew me to this, which was also another challenge of Cindy's May Asian Readathon, was to get a book that was highly recommended or highly rated. And the fact that that is right here on the cover, and she's the one who left a good review of this book right here. Another thing that I found interesting is I'm pretty sure that Worry Fixer is non-binary, which I haven't read a book like that yet, but every time that they are mentioned, they and them is used rather than she or he. And so there's only a few details in the book that might make you be able to guess the gender that they were born in, but I just thought that it was really interesting because I haven't experienced that yet in reading. And so they're a nice character that is in here. They're not in the book a whole ton. They are the ones that kind of a secretary, I guess. Yeah, I think they actually are a secretary, where they work at disease control, and they are the ones that deal with the files of the clients, and that basically gives Hornclaw her jobs, or Bullfight his jobs, and stuff like that. So they are the ones that kind of take care of that aspect, that important aspect of making sure that the business is taken care of. So if you are interested in that, that's also a part of this book. And I know I didn't really talk too much about any of the other characters, but Bullfight, he is a really important character. Dr. Kang, who is the doctor that Hornclaw has to go to when she gets injured, he becomes quite important as well. And there's also a lot of back and forth of like past and present, so that you can get a little bit more details of Hornclaw's life and how she ended up in this business in the first place. And I enjoyed reading all those parts. I wanted to know more about her backstory, and that's what we were able to get. And it helps make sense of why she was in the position that she was in by the end of the book, more like by the middle to the end of the book. So yeah, if you think that that sounds interesting, then pick it up wherever you can or get it at the library. I just bought it because I saw it while I was out shopping for books, and so it caught my eye like right before we were about to leave too, so that was really lucky. And it was the only copy too at that location, so really lucky. But yeah, really enjoyed this one. So anyways, thank you so much for watching. I'll put some links in the description box below to some more stuff about the Asian Readathon. I know it's like the last day of the month, but this happens every year, and you don't even have to only read Asian literature during the month of May anyway. I obviously don't just wait till May to read these books, so you don't have to either. But if you are interested in future, if you haven't heard of this before, then I'll put a link down below so that you can kind of find it a little bit faster and then maybe participate next year. And yeah, so thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.